You know, hey, anytime you guys think that there's maybe there's gonna be like a dull time when it comes to the Eagles and its content, just roll out Nick and you'll be all right. By the way, we always start the show off and we'll do it again as always. Big Sills! But first and foremost, today's a day to remember Normandy and the 80th anniversary of Omaha, Gold, Juneau, Sword, the greatest beaches in the world. When Americans liberated evil, and it didn't matter what that face looked like in our own country, we went and we liberated and we fought for a continent again. I don't know we'll ever see a generation like that ever again. Sacrificing and running to harm's way. There's no getting around what those hallowed beaches of Normandy are all about. One of the greatest things of all time. You have to get to France, and you have to have it as a bucket list. Just to see the daunting task that those men had to get up those cliffs, it's incredible. If it doesn't make you weep when you think about the men hanging in the barbed wire out in the ocean, or men drowning or being shot, seeing the scores of pictures of men's bodies with boots coming out of blankets, they're on the beach as they were trying to fight evil. You'll never see anything like that in your entire lives ever again. There's very few times on this planet where humanity was doing the right thing. I mean, I can't say enough about this day, June 6th. It's one of the greatest days in American history and in the world's history. Fighting evil. I mean, today's a day to remember. You know how you say Memorial Day? This is what this is about, our country today. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Jew, everyone should take a lesson from that generation. We honor you, man. All right. It is day 3 of the Nick Sirianni mandatory minicamps. Boy, I'll tell you, guys, I've got to start by doing this to you. That quarterback and that head football coach are not on the same page. And it couldn't have been more evident than today. It could not have been more evident than today. If you just listened to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Hey, Sills, what do you think about Laurie selling part of the team? I heard it's non-controlling. I posted it earlier. It's a percentage. It could be to bring – by the way, hey, Khalid, the NFL owners are now also opening up the doors for outside investment. I'm not saying that the Saudis are going to start investing in the National Football League like you see them what they're doing with the PGA and UFC, but I don't know exactly what the owners are, what their details are going to be when it comes to bringing in money. Does that mean now the NFL owners are going to be open to outside hedge funds from other countries, other parts of the world? I'm not sure, but the Raiders have done it. Now the Eagles are doing it. The Commanders have done it. There's numerous teams. I hear the Chargers are going to start doing it. So something at the last owners meeting came up with that. And I don't know, Khalid, but I appreciate the super chat. By the way, guys, we're trying to get to 200 likes today. You guys have been sensational, and I totally appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to give you my takeaways. And you tell me if you heard something completely different. Because as a former player, I'm going to hear things maybe that you may have heard and it landed different for you. But I'm going to tell you, when I hear a player talking and a coach talk, now you got to remember, and by the way, I was wrong. I was wrong yesterday about a comment. And I'm going to tell you what that comment was. And I was completely wrong about it. Please hit the like button here. Okay. Let's start with Jalen. Hey, Black Leo, tell me what you think and what you heard at that press conference today. So Hurts went like this when he started getting asked questions about the new offense. I couldn't believe there was actually somebody in the room that actually was as stunned as I was when Hurts said, this is 95% all new. Remember when I said yesterday, because I took it from Nick, hey, I like that we're adding something, to what we are doing in the past. And, he said that yesterday. He said, remember he even made a comment? Hey, I told Kellen I really like that. And that's being added to the offense. Not according to Hurts. Hurts is saying it's 95% new. What are you adding the 5%? To your 5%, Nick? This guy, Nick Sirianni, he's clueless. Jalen Hurts, out of his own mouth, said this offense is 95% new. The day before, Nick said we're adding the new and the old. How are you balancing that? Hurts blew that up today. There ain't nothing being added. This is a brand new offense. I was wrong. I went on the words of Nick. Hey, I should know better. He said that. Was it John McMullen that even asked it? Balancing the new and the old. Jalen Hurts said today it's a 95% new offense. All new. That is not what that coach said. Hey, his early takeaways on the new offense. He was asked, Hurts. He couldn't answer it. Do you like it? He was like this. Hey, we're just looking to get better. It's too early yet. It's too early yet. Well, Jalen, do you like what they're doing or not? He said it. Listen, guys, this is not my fucking content. This is what these players and coaches are saying. Hurts verified Nick has no say, more runs. Completely true, Nick. Completely true. There's no meshing of old and new. Jalen blew that up today. Nick Sirianni has no say in that offense. But he thinks he does. I'll explain here. Jalen couldn't even tell you if he liked what they're doing. It's too early. It's too early. M. Reyes goes, who gives a shit? Your coach is a fucking liar and he gets in the way. He's getting in the way again. And they haven't even played a game yet. That's why, M. Reyes. This guy's a dummy sometimes, man. I love him, but Jesus. The Cowboys are going to win 5 games just like how you thought they were going to finish last in the NFC East last season. 304, love you. You had a better roster last year. Mike Tomlin and Nick Sirianni, pump the brakes, dude. Mike Tomlin has complete autonomy of his coaching staff and has say in the players he picks. Holy shit. Hurts said this is a brand new offense. Nick yesterday said meshing of new and old. Give me a break. And when Jalen was asked the question if he liked it, He couldn't say whether he did or not. It's still too early and we're working through it. Holy shit. Hey, here's another one. Yeah, we got to learn the new way of us being coached. What's that mean? So Kellen Moore is coaching him completely different than what he's been the last 3 years? Holy shit. Why is Sirianni in the building? Jalen Hurts, when asked what his role was, paused and said, I can't answer that. I don't really know how to answer that. You don't know what your role of your head coach is? He couldn't even back him there at the press conference today. He didn't even have a kind word to say about his influence. Can you believe that? The head coach, when asked by the quarterback what the head coach's role was, he couldn't answer it. Do you think that's a problem? And by the way, that's not fucking made up. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. Couldn't define his role. You think that quarterback respects that guy? No way. Basically, I took away from that, why is he in the building? Hey, and get this. Remember something, folks. All you got to do is go back and listen. This ain't my content. These are the words of your starting quarterback and your $50 million guy. So whatever words you're saying at me, throwing one-loss records at me, your quarterback couldn't define your own head coach's role, and he couldn't even tell you if he liked what they're doing yet. Go listen. That guy said it's 95% new. And the other day, Nick Sirianni's bullshitting you again. Wait till I get to Nick's comments. Holy cow. Hurts likes to blame everyone except himself. Last year, he had confetti at his phone background, and that's what he has this year, a knee brace. Let's get to Nick now. Players look to be in great shape. He's giving pointers to DBs and linebackers now. I remember Xander the other day going like this, you want Nick Sirianni giving your defensive guys pointers? No, he's making a roll-up for himself. Something that I saw in high school. I'm like, please stop this madness. Nick is fighting for his place in the offensive room. It's a brand new offense, and he said it's new terminology. A lot of the stuff we've been doing in the past is still there. And you're like this. That's not what the quarterback is saying. The quarterback is saying it's brand new. And that's why he's struggling. Someone's lying. Either the quarterback is or the head coach is. When he was asked about micromanaging, he goes, so I still have some roles. I've never seen a head coach in the National Football League had his complete power taken away more than this guy has. Could you see Jalen and Moore experiment the RPO to new levels with the help of improving him, getting comfortable in the pocket? Great show, Sills. Devontae, now that I know that Kellen is going to be in control, completely of the offense, there's no RPO being brought in that. There's not a chance in hell there's an RPO. He didn't run RPOs in Dallas. Hey, 304. He didn't run RPOs in Dallas, right? He didn't run RPOs in hey, Richard goes, what the hell is wrong with the new offense? God damn, he says. Well, what's the offense last year got? Everybody got paid and raises. Everybody broke multiple records last year. Okay, and on top of that, Sirianni said, "No, we're meshing new and old." Your coach is lying. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be transparent and tell the truth. Nick has no role on this football team. Angelo and Xander were right. I'm wrong. He has no fucking say. Nothing. Zero in the offensive game plan. Nothing. Can you imagine a 34-17 coach with no say in his own team? What's that tell you? 34-17. And he has no say in his team. And you guys want to compare him to John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin? You got a long way to go before you compare that ass clown to those two coaches. I've never seen a coach in my life have no job title. He has no job title, but a couple high school pointers that he learned from his head coach on DB play. By the way, these are their words. I saw that, Sills. Makes me disappointed in Jalen. He could have at least faked it. Had a chance to back his coach, but he didn't. Jalen let me down. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the super chat. Jalen did not back his coach at all. Here, again, I thought the two things that stuck out the most on what Hurts said was that the offense was completely new, which means Sirianni's out. He has no direction of that offense. And when asked the role of the coach, he goes, that's a good question. I don't know. I can't answer that. What? Do you honestly think at winning places around the league that people in Green Bay don't know Matt LaFleur's job? Hey, get this. And Senor, how about this one? Or Pickin, how about this one? When asked about the new offense, Hurts goes, it's too early yet. Spin goes, he's already checked out on Sirianni. That's how I took that too. He doesn't know if he likes the offense, and he said it's too early. Okay? He couldn't define the head coach's role, and it's a completely new offense, contradicting the head coach. Too early, calm down. So wait a minute, get this guy here. You are officially 60 days out from the start of camp, inside of 2 months. And this guy goes, calm down, and the coach has no role. The quarterback doesn't know if he likes the system. It's a brand new system, and you think in the next 90 days till you get to September 6th, this is going to be on the same page? I can't wait to see it. Hurts is saying, hey, I'm going through the process right now of learning. He's learning on June 6th. Okay. Hey, by the way, RTF, I'm not spinning shit. Go listen. These are those words. This is not spin. He said this. Too early to tell yet on the new offense. What's Nick's role? That's a good question. I can't answer that. Do you like the offense? I don't know. What's the spin? What's the spin? What is the spin? Tell me what that spin is. When you got two guys talking two different things. So I don't know whose voice that was. The guy goes, don't you think that's awful high? 95% of the, there was a reporter in the building that said, don't you think that's awful high? And when Nick was asked that question, he gave you one of those 3-minute soliloquies again. Because Jalen contradicted him the same way that A.J. Brown contradicted him when he was in Seattle. Holy cow. I mean, are you guys really? And some go like this, Sills, it's minicamp. No, I'm not even getting to what happened in day 2 yet. I'm telling you, in communication, this is communicating with each other. You don't have to have pads on to communicate, talk, have your feelings on something. Do you like what you're seeing? It's too early. I don't know. Okay. Here's the problem, Sills. I agree with what you're saying. However, as fans, we can't do a damn thing about it. All we can do is watch and hope for the best. Q, I know. It's here, once again. Q, you're right here. Hey, LJ, stop comparing Tomlin and Harbaugh to that Sirianni guy. Tomlin and Harbaugh hire their coaches. They pick the personnel. That guy was just told, we found out again today, he has no say in anything that goes on in that football team. Nothing. Zero. And when the quarterback, I guarantee you, Lamar Jackson's not going to shit on his coach like Jalen did today. I guarantee you, Russell Wilson or whomever in Pittsburgh's not shitting on Mike Tomlin. Guarantee you. You see, LJ is like Lori. You know what that is? He's making excuses for a guy who's not qualified to be the head football coach and sat in here on this show and told you he'd rather have Nick Sirianni than Andy Reid and Doug Peterson. Because you know why? He doesn't want to be wrong. That's a fact too. That's exactly what he said. He'd rather have Andy Reid and Doug Peterson than he'd rather fire Andy and Doug and keep Nick because he's defending his take. Remember, he can't flip-flop. He can't flip-flop. So he's going down with the Titanic. And the quarterback can't defend him ever. Because you know why? He doesn't want to. Big Seals, I feel that we are going to start slow this season after hearing Jalen didn't look confident at all. Jalen refuses to acknowledge Nick. I'm starting to think you're right, Sills. Jalen's in trouble. It's okay, Jameson. Jalen was asked about leadership, and he was all over the place in that question. Okay? He was all over the place. He's a young man. He's still learning that role. I'm not going to kill him for that. How many people really believe Tom Brady was the ultimate leader at the beginning of his time in New England. I don't. I think it was Brewski and some of those other guys that they had, those veteran dudes, Vrabel and them men. And I think he evolved into that. Could Jalen evolve into that? Absolutely. Does he have the capabilities? Yes. 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 Look at Martin with a great take. I am, Sills. Kelsey and Cox are gone. Jalen's voice needs to be heard. But I do agree with Jalen, what he said at the presser. It's got to be generic. Can't be forced. He's right. He's dead on with that. Totally dead on. Remember something, folks. I want you to understand something. Like, a lot of you in here are not going to like what I say when it comes to comparing you to Kansas City or to Tom Brady's era and his dynasty. Don't you get it? I'm comparing you to the two greatest dynasties that we've seen in pro football in the last 50 years. Don't you want to be compared to that? And don't you want to use that as your gold standard? I'm not going to give you Green Bay. I'm not going to give you the Rams. I'm not going to compare you to those organizations because I think you've got more promise than those organizations. I'm comparing you to people that are doing it to the top level. That's a compliment. That's a compliment because you're close. The problem becomes this. You don't empower the right people. You know, Emmanuel Acho said something about Hurts. He's going to win a lot of games, but he's not going to win the right game. Now, I think that's got to do with coaching and environment a little bit. Okay? Flexen, I don't think you have. I think you have passionate fans that want to give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to what Q said, optimism. Dude, I'm with Q on that. Hey, Sills, don't you have optimism in June? I told you yesterday I did. I'm going to show you a little bit more here on some of the things that we're hearing. I gave you a brief synopsis yesterday on day 2. I'm going to give you more detailed here. We'll have a little bit more later on in the program what happened today. Okay? We have crybaby fans that cry if they don't get their way. Hey, how about this? Slagger says this. BG said that Howie fixed the team. Then was asked, he humped and fumbled, but clearly said that experienced coaches were what it was. Okay, I'm going to get to him in a minute here because you know what? I got a bitch with Brandon Graham here in a second that no one's going to have this take and no one's going to lay into his ass too. I think everyone is misunderstanding what Jalen was trying to say because they are not reading between the lines. Nick is the issue. Prince, completely. He's in the way. Remember Prince, I said, how do you think the relationship between Kellen and Nick is going to be? I think you see it front and center. There were 2 different conversations being said by the quarterback and the coach. One guy thinks he still has some of the offense of the old offense. The quarterback says there's nothing left of the offense. How do you hear anything different when one guy goes, it's a completely new offense, just about, and the other guy saying we're implementing new and old, and we're doing some of it's maybe terminology. Dude, what are you talking about? Shut up. You have no say in this thing. Because you know why? It is an indictment on him. It's an indictment on the 23 offense. Even A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith threw an indictment that they have more freedom in the routes now than what they did a year ago. So wait a minute. The quarterback says it's brand new. The wide receivers say they have more freedom, but Nick's saying meshing of new and old. You're in the way, guy. You're in the way. Holy cow, you can't be anymore. I was even in the Eagle chat. going, what is he saying? What is he saying? The wide receiver said the same thing. I got it, Prince. Prince, I'm with you. The wide receivers and the quarterback are saying, I got more freedom. It's brand new. Coach is going something different about new terminology. Yeah, Jalen's. Then he went into this again, soliloquy about, new responsibilities. Maybe he didn't have them. You're going, stop. Just stop. Dude, it's June 6th. And this guy's in the way. He should have just said this. Best thing Nick could have did for the team. Hey, I'm really proud of what Kellen is doing. He's opening up and expanding the quarterback's ability to try to be better at the position and trying to be better in the pocket. We're doing something different here. That's how you evolve an offense. If Jalen Hurts is going to evolve, we've got to evolve the offense, and that's why Kellen's here. Put your ego aside, kid. Nick Sirianni's ego's in the way. I'll be okay if the defense carries us for the first 6 weeks. I'm more optimistic on that. Nick Sirianni's ego is so enormous. He should have just relented. You know what a sign of a real leader is? I give you this comparison all the time about D. Wade and Steph Curry. Hey, LeBron, D. Wade, this is your team. This is your team. And everyone knew it was Wade's team. Steph Curry, KD, this is your team. Hey, man, we're so glad you're here. We need you to win a championship. That's leadership. Brady, hey, the reason that I was the greatest and the reason I played so long is because I was the best teammate I could possibly be, and I connected with everyone. It's about the intangible things like that. Humbling yourself. Nick cannot humble himself. Listen to the press conference. He cannot humble himself. He cannot humble himself. It was on display today. Just in words. And you're not in pads yet. I haven't even got to the on the field stuff. By the way, let me get to Brandon Graham. So now Brandon Graham is giving us Monday morning conversations about shitty coaching. Where the fuck was your leadership when it was melting down, guy, and then and the ship was sinking? Where was your leadership then being vocal? Leaders don't say it after the fact when the boat hits the bottom and is sunk. They say it when it's going down. We need to do something. If anything, I am more hopeful now. I didn't really think much of Nick before, and you opened my eyes to him. I miss Dougie P. Jalen struggling makes more sense now. Much love, Sills. Great show. Q. It's not something that's cool for me to do victory laps on because it hurts the entire environment of what my point has been. You know what my point has been? You're this close. Q, that's where I'm at. Okay? That's where I'm at. Where was Brandon Graham during the season? Standing up like a leader and being vocal? Or did Bob Lang shut his fucking ass down too? Hey, it's one thing after the fact, and now you're throwing praise at Howie? Here in the offseason, they needed you when you were in battle. Not now. That's a lame-ass comment that I have no respect for. No respect. I know you guys love him. That's a stupid and shitty way of approaching coaches who were put out there as sacrificial lambs, and now you're dumping on them too. You were involved in that shit too, guy. Oh, it was the coaches, but not you. Okay. You're in it together. You're in it together. It's a sorry-ass moment for Brandon Graham in my eyes. That's not leadership after the fact. Now you're finger pointing 6 months after the fact. Oh, okay. Great. We needed you then. Not today. To throw roses at some shit during helmets and shorts. That's an absolutely terrible moment for him. Bro, you're in it together. He knows this. He knows this. Hey, people are going to defend him. Where were you in the season? Oh, I know. When guys stand up or say something, the organization makes you walk it back on a Wednesday like they did Hurts. Remember? It was like after the Jet game or something. We got guys in here not on the same page. Jalen was trying to tell you. Then he had to clarify it. And he had to walk it back. Oh, okay. You even clipped the quarterback's process on being a leader. So you're taking his skill set away from 22, and you are monitoring his leadership in how to be a leader because the organization would rather look good than develop the quarterback's leadership skills. That was a moment. That was a moment that Jalen could have stepped forward as a leader if the organization had just left it alone, but they didn't. They made him walk his own leadership. He was right. Jalen could have saved that fucking season right after the fucking Jets game. He's telling you. He wanted to do it. When they shut him down, he shut down. Tell me I'm wrong. When they shut him down, he shut down. Dude, that was the first time when I heard him say that. I was like, damn, good. About time. Come Wednesday, I'd like to clarify my comments that I made after the game. It was and you're like, oh, God. Bob Lang strikes again. You aren't taking victory laps. You're just saying the truth. I just have a new perspective on things. Thank you, Q. Q, you're right here. Okay? Thank you, Raj. You're right here. Don't look at this as, dude, we're addressing it on June 6th. I'd rather address it on June 6th than September 6th. Okay? I'd rather address it now. Let's kick some steam up. When I heard, these players don't even know that they're undermining their own coach because the coach says things in a press conference. They don't know what he's saying because the players are telling the truth. The coach is lying. Jalen's not lying. I completely believe Hurts. Does that guy come off like a liar to you? He may need to develop his leadership, but there's one thing I'll say to that kid's a genuine kid. I'm never going to sit up here and go, unless it's something that he has to cover for a player, which sometimes you may have to. We all know quarterbacks will do that. You saw Mahomes falling on the sword for his receivers dropping passes. I'm talking, I'm talking white lies like that. Hey man, all good. But that guy's not gonna come off. He was asked the question, yeah, it's brand new, 95% new. You're like, what? 95% new? Somebody better go over to that head coach and tell him, hey, there ain't no meshing of the new and old. Cosmo, honestly, Sills, with Howie and Nick being that close, seems like a mile away with them being where they're not going to win. Sad to say, I love the Eagles, but damn. Hey, Cosmo, again, listen to this, Cosmo. It's not so, they're not even in pads yet, and they can't even communicate with one another. Did those two guys sound like they were on the same page for minicamp? Ask yourself this. Did those guys sound like they were on the same page for minicamp? This is a mandatory minicamp. Nobody knows what they're doing. Well, no, the players, hey, now I know why the offense is struggling, gives Jalen a little bit more autonomy. You're like, okay, if this thing is, dude, it's like learning a brand new foreign language. Jalen's like learning French here. Totally understood. It's totally understandable. Do you understand he makes the quarterback look stupid? When I say this, he can't even play pitch and catch in Nick's offense because Nick's saying it's new and old, and some of the new stuff is kind of clouding what he's having to see. Shit, no, man. 9 of the 10 plays that is now scripted in minicamp are brand new. Is Jalen going to struggle a little bit? Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Sills, he sucked in camp. You know, he's going to be a step slower because he said that too today. Here, I'll paraphrase it for you. When asked about the new offense, Jalen Hurts goes like this. Yeah, they're overloading us right now. And there's so much information. And, I have to get it to be where it's repetition and, it just becomes normal. We're not there yet. I was like, damn, this kid can't read a playbook. Then when someone asked the question, the follow-up, yeah, it's 95% new. I went, holy shit. No wonder he's struggling. No wonder all the hey, I should know better to have listened to Nick and believed anything he said. You want to know why all the quarterbacks are struggling now? It's not because they're being coached wrong. It's because it's a brand new system, completely the entire offense is going to be new. Slager goes like this. He said it's 95% new. Not surprising. Wasn't new last year. Brand new offense, a brand new offensive coordinator. It wasn't new last year. Hurts never gets a chance to grow in one offense. Yeah. Offense was so basic last season. That's what Eagle fans said. People got raises off that basic offense. Seals, until the front office issues are addressed on this team, we will always be this close. Yeah. Yes. Daniel says 95% is crazy. On an 11-win team, you're changing 95% of an offense that had 11 wins. And everyone got raises. Okay. To what? Kellen Moore's offense? So Kellen Moore's offense is going to give you a Super Bowl that you saw in Dallas. You're basically getting the Dallas Cowboy offense under Dak Prescott. How do you feel about that? RPO's history. Ask yourself, Okay. Now that Hurts said it's 95%, you're getting the Dallas Cowboy Dak Prescott offense. How do you feel about it? That's all he knows. That's all he's coached. You think he's just going to magically come up with another new offense? And if that's the case, why didn't you hire an offensive coordinator that fits the quarterback skill set? Or did that guy go to Washington? This is just a question. So you're going to ask a guy to create an offense for a quarterback that he's never called plays in that system that he's making for Hurts. Is that right? So he's inexperienced in this new boutique offense, or is he going to give him Dak Prescott's offense? I'm so confused. I don't know what to think of this. That press conference today did not help Nick. I think it helped Jalen because it gave us some clarity. The JM goes like this. That offense almost had 5,000 yards passing. Okay. Again, I don't gauge offensive coordinators by numbers. Remember what Jimmy Johnson said. There's coordinators that put numbers and big scores up. And there's coordinators that win games. Kellen Moore puts up big numbers, but doesn't win postseason games. Look at his track record. Sills, you didn't get my point. Okay. The point is that it's OTA's minicamp. And they are working on new stuff now. Doesn't mean it's the entire offense. Jalen Hurts said it's a 95% new offense. I didn't say that. He did. You're trying to change Jalen Hurts' words. It's the offense is 95% new. Those were his words. It's not new stuff. It's a new offense. One of the reporters, it could have been Frank's that 95%. He even shouted it out. 95%. Everybody in the building was stunned when they heard that. That's not working on something new. And the coach telling you the day before, and then even telling you today, we're working on some of the things that, we did in the past and we're implementing them. Bro, they're doing nothing what they did in the past. He's trying to make it seem that some of the stuff that they did is some of the stuff that Kellen does because of his ego. This guy's ego. Okay? This guy's ego writes checks his ass can't cash. He's 2-5 and he's 11-6 as a play calling guy or involved in the play calling. Just remember that. Oh, I did. Hey, you damn right I did, because I went on your liar coach's words, NFC clips, until Hurts called him out today. The same way AJ called him out. Lying. Anthony, thank you very much. Jalen didn't even know he was doing it. And then get this, the ultimate. When Hurts was asked his role, he didn't know it. It's a good question. I don't know how to answer that. Verbatim. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. You got a $50 million head. You got a $50 million quarterback who doesn't know his head coach's role. Where have you ever heard that? Where have you ever heard that? Hey, let's take LJ's number. Where have you ever heard a 34-17 coach with a quarterback who helped you get that number, when asked what that guy's role is, him say, I don't know. I can't answer that. When have you ever heard that? I don't know what that coach's role is. When? When have you ever heard that? And by the way, that was said at the press conference. Remember something, though, too. When you see LJ posting in here, he would rather have Nick, and he has said it, over Andy Reid and Doug as the Eagles head football coach right now. I don't know what else to say. With a quarterback who doesn't know the coach's role, because he doesn't want to flip-flop. LJ, you take Nick, I'll take Reed and Doug. All good. Remember, hey, you're right. He can't flip-flop now because he's got Nick better than Andy and Doug. Keeping Nick Sirianni is the worst mistake Gloria's ever made. He won't fire him because of ego. He can't justify firing him after Doug. That tremendous interview that Xander and John McMullen did with Marcus Hayes is exactly the problem that you have. There's too many egos in the Eagle front office between Roseman, the owner, and Nick. Everyone's defending their turf. Nick's defending his place on the team. Rightfully so. I would too. How he's defending his role in the organization. Laurie's defending his decisions. It's a power-hungry organization, and this is the reason you're 1-3 in Super Bowls. Okay? Let's just take LJ's comment about 4 wins. Guy wins you a Super Bowl with a substitute quarterback. He doesn't deserve the right to dig himself out of that and get another year to right the ship? Really? And a coach who had a complete implosion, who was fighting for his life, and what's that record he posts? 34-17. And a quarterback who can't stand him as a coach has the right to come back and get in the way just in a simple press conference. You're going to get more of that when the bullets are real. You want to know why the Eagles come after me? Because I kill them with their own words. And when their own words are put back at them, they can't answer their own questions. And they put the players in compromising situations. Come on, Sills. The refs had more of a... I feel bad for Jalen Hurts that he has to put up with these lies and bullshit. Because you're stunting his growth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hurts quote, right now it's been a majority of it been a lot of new inventory, probably about 95%. He prefaced it by saying right now, that does not mean the entire offense. Why would you be practicing things right now and not practicing some of the stuff that you've done in the past? And when Nick was asked that same question, okay, he was asked that. So they're practicing everything brand new right now, not working on anything that worked. Okay. Let's find out if you're right. Well, then how come when Hurts was asked the question, and I'll quote, about the coach's role, he couldn't answer it and said, that's a good question. What's his role? I don't know. How about that one? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Answer that one. Hurts doesn't know the role of his coach. I don't know. I don't believe Jalen has. This is not a Jalen Hurts problem. This is an organizational problem, as I've been telling you. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. We're also going to have Mark Farzetta at 5:30. Let's get into the Big Sills takeaways. Thank you very much, Mark Combs, a turtleneck, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Big Sills takeaways, day 2. Talking to some of our friends over there and what they saw. And our spin with it here. We'll get a little bit more later in the day. Some of our friends that are over there on the coaching staff. Day 2 takeaways. Struggling on the deep throws was evident from Jalen Hurts. And after listening to him today, we'll find out a little more in day 3 what happens. But a lot of the checkdowns that he was throwing, 5-yard passes, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a good sign that Barkley's going to be used a lot in the offense. It's no problem. Hey, Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls or 7 Super Bowls checking down. I'm all right with that. Hey, Sills, Laurie has a big head after winning Super Bowl. He'd rather sacrifice good coaching, which is in a way from back getting what a lunatic owner. Hey, all I know is this. 34. He wants, listen, winning a championship, Ace, versus control. What's more important to him, do you think? What's more important to him? What's more important? Sean goes, stop ripping Hurts. I'm not going to stop ripping Hurts. He's a $50 million guy. He's going to be ripped the same way Josh Allen gets ripped. He's going to be ripped the same way Lamar Jackson fails in the postseason. He's going to get ripped the same way Dak gets killed in Dallas. Part of the job, kid. Suck it up and man up. Grow a pair. You don't like it? Too bad. What the hell do you think this is? Some woke-ass league? Like the NBA? Guys take load management? Sack up. Grow a pair. Number 2. Keely Ringo has been a superstar, they're saying. You know what they're saying? How good he is, too? Setting receivers up. What? Who is this guy? Where has he been? What in the world are we doing with him a year ago? They're saying he's setting people up. And I told you this yesterday. He's setting them up like Ed Reed. What? What? Where was this guy last year? Holy shit. You're using guys' names that I revere and certain people in that organization revere, and you're throwing that name around? Good for him. This guy has made a leap from here to there. And you know what he's done? What did I write down here? He's put his name in the conversation of this. What do we do with him? Versus he's just another guy. That's how coaches think. This guy has made an insane leap, like a Hurts 21-22 leap. Absolutely insanity. Insanity to be going like this from one day. Now, could it be Vic? Yes. It could be Vic. Dude, good for him. How about this? You want to hear something crazy? This guy, Keely Ringo, may have the same impact that Jalen Carter has on that defense this year. If they're saying what he says. Has Vic Fangio unlocked some new potential in Ringo that we didn't know about? The cornerback competition is going to be intense once the season starts. Devontae, agreed. Thank you for the super chat. Fantastic. I think it's got a lot to do with new coaching and being put in a scheme that fits your skill set. Nice job. Way to go. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next step here when it comes to training camp with the pads. I want to tell you something. I heard John McMullen say this with Xander, and I think John misses the point. John's not, John says this all the time. I'm there all the time. Well, you're not a player either. So I'll give you from a perspective of this. It's not so much what you're doing in helmets and shorts. Are you getting the reps? If coaches want to see you on tape, whether you're in pads or helmets or shorts, that's irrelevant. Let me ask you something. If your boss talks to you every day and gives you a conversation every day, and he's talking to you about 20, 25 minutes a day, and there's another guy in the building who's a sales guy and he never talks to, who do you think he values more? Remember what I told you about Jimmy Johnson, what he told me about him being on my ass all the time? He's giving me shit. He's talking to me. He's doing this. He's ripping me a new one. And I said, damn, why are you always on my ass? Worry when I'm not talking to you, son. That's when you need to worry the most. Got it. Thank you, Coach. That's why it's important. Minicamp. Helmets and shorts. Guys doing good wheel routes. I get it. But, and by the way, silly with his made-up stories. Hey, dickbag, he said that here. One of the 20 times Jimmy Johnson's been on this program. That's exactly what he said. Coach used to say that all the time to us. Okay? This kid here, man, good for him. When you're getting reps, that's a telltale sign that you're in people's mindset that they're going to use. You see, you got to remember something. Out of the 90 men, they're going to pick 53 men for a roster, and they're going to pick about 32 men that they're going to use all year. The rest of them are going to be on the sidelines chewing ice. That's what they're going to pick, and they're going to weed that down. Then they weed it to 22. They already know. One of the cool things about the Eagle roster, they already know 90% of their roster. But I'll tell you one thing that Vic is doing. Give it to him, boy. I'll tell you something. That dude is clearly going to play. That's how Bill Belichick coaches. He's going to play the best guy. He doesn't give a shit what it says. He's going to play the best guy there is. Okay? Cooper DeJean looks better than Quinyon Mitchell right now. Now, again, this is a conversation where you go helmets and shorts. Okay? But to me, they are giving him more reps. And I think they like his versatility more than Quinyon Mitchell. Do you notice they've dropped Mitchell in the slot, played him at corner? But I think they like this kid, DeJean, right now a little more. Hey, could that change in the training camp? No question. But I'd rather have positive conversations and a positive out view going into training camp than people having doubts about my abilities. That's what this is also. You're setting up your depth chart for training camp with this. Good night. I can't believe people that cover the Eagles or cover the NFL doesn't get what mini camps are. This is how you formulate your depth chart going into the July 27th training camp. Do you not know that? Has anyone ever told you that? I can't be the first person to tell you that. Can I? The coaches are, hey, let me show you something here. And is that next? Not yet. So here's what's happened. Who were the starting linebackers prior to OTAs? Inside linebackers. Who were the starting linebackers going into OTAs and going into the final day of OT, mandatory minicamp? Who were the starting inside linebackers that were on the depth chart? Which I get daily. Who are your starting inside linebackers at the start of OTAs? No. It was Dean and White. Now, because Dean couldn't play, Zach Braun's getting a big look. And in my opinion, he got Wally pipped. He ain't ever going to get that job back unless a catastrophic injury happens to Zach Braun. Unless he got Wally pipped. He's now a third team guy. They are looking at him and they are giving him a long look. And I do agree, JM. I think Braun is Vic's guy. I'm going to say something here, and you guys tell me. Seals, your take on White looking like a stud. I'm not there. I'm not there. You guys tell me if this is fair or not fair. Gardner Johnson has a big mouth. Is that good or bad? Sil said White was a dude, a dud. He was in Tampa. Gardner Johnson with a big mouth. Is that good or bad? I'm not ripping it. I'm not ripping it. I'm asking. Is that good or bad? Hey, if anybody likes shit talking, it's got to be me. Okay? I mean, We missed his mentality last year, says Nick. It's good. The Slacker goes, it's entertaining. It's needed. I want attitude on that defense. Okay. You're talking me into it. It's good to a point. Depends on the situation. Well, wait a minute. Spin. He doesn't have a filter. So if he has a big mouth, you're going to have to take the good and the bad with that. By the way, I'm not ripping it. How could I rip that? How could I? I mean, I can't rip that. I'm the ultimate shit talker. I want a violent, nasty defensive mentality. Yeah, this guy's got no filter. Turpin just pisses other teams off and creates unnecessary pressure on the team. Man. Y'all saw that? Do it with respect. Hey, man, you don't talk shit. Hey, Raj, you don't talk shit. Respect and talking shit, I don't think belong in the same book. You know what I mean? I don't think that belongs in the same book. So, I'm going to go like this. I'm Switzerland too on it. I don't know, because he's talking a lot of shit out there. But you know what I also heard? He's coaching up some of the safety guys, telling DeJean and all these other guys that they're doing a really good job. And yeah, okay. And he's talking shit out there. He's really active. He's vocal. That gets in people's ass. I like it. DC, okay? Okay, I like it. I like shit talking. I think it brings a swagger to you. I do. I think it brings a swagger. And get this, but you have to take hey, sometimes he's going to talk shit and it's not going to be good shit. And you got to eat that shit. Just like you take with the good and you go, no, well, it's like Manny being Manny. Okay. Good for Mitchell, superstar in the making. We'll see. I think the kid DeJean's playing a little bit better. Let's see here. Baltimore owns the NFL. You're right. We need a lot of that on defense, says Adam. Okay. Number 5. Devin White is taking to the coaching style of Vic. Hey, Prince, you could be right. Prince could be right, and I'm wrong. How many times you heard that on this program? You could be right, Prince. He's taken a shine to Vic Fangio's style of coaching. I mean, he is. And even the other coaches are noticing it. Okay? I mean, they're noticing it. And the only problem that I have with that kind of mentality, okay? The only time that I have a problem with that mentality so if the ship starts sinking, is he going to go down again? And we're going to be on the guy you show up to work sometimes. One day this guy's in a good mood. The next day he's in a shitty mood. The next day, I hate those kind of people. Don't bring your problems on me. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I got enough of my own life to deal with. Don't bring your shit on me. And I don't want to care how you're feeling. You know what I mean, that guy? You go to work and you got to ask him how you're like, fuck that. I don't care how your life is going. I don't care what that means. I have my own problems. How some of the people want to make, they bring their shit on you so that you'll feel bad for them. You're like this. I don't care about that. If it's family related, it's one thing. If it's not, come on, man. What do you make of Goddard losing a ton of weight? Is it trying to help him as he gets older, thinking that some of the weight loss may be a factor in his being injury prone. I don't know if I like a tight end being thinner. I mean, he's pretty good at the point of attack. He's kind of a baby Gronk kind of guy. I don't know. I think maybe he's doing it because he wants to be more implemented into the offense, because what kind of tight ends did they run there in Dallas? Kellen Moore was there. Okay? I mean, right? Here's the thing with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is getting very little reps, which means they don't want to see him. Some would go, they want to take a look at the other guys. He's the 31st pick a year ago. What are you talking about? Other guys. There are no other guys. What are you talking about? This is not a 5th rounder. He's a 1st round pick. What are you talking about? Other guys. He's not getting, he has no film on him in this camp. Some will go like this. Well, it's helmets and shorts. I know. He can't even get on film, which means the coaches don't want to see him. What's that tell you? You can't get on the field in the regular season, and you can't get on the field in helmets and shorts, and the coaches don't want to see you, and Fangio's not sold on you, and you can't even get game tape on him or practice tape in helmets and shorts? You think there's a problem? You should. If that were me, I'd be panicking. Holy cow. Everyone else is getting 15 to 25 reps. I'm getting 5. Shit. Helmets and shorts. Wait till training camp comes. He'll get none. That's a preparation for the season. Yeah. You know what Prince said? Huff barely got anything. The difference between 18 million bucks and a 10 sack guy and a guy who's done dick is the sun and the moon. You're paying a guy 18 million bucks versus a guy who you don't even know what you got. It's not the point. Bob says Smith should excel in helmets and shorts. That's the point. They don't even want to see him on tape. Prince, it's been the entire minicamp. The entire minicamp. He's gotten very little reps. It's not just one day. Wow. You're going to hang on him like you hung on Dean. Okay. Good luck to you. Once again, it's helmets and shorts, and there's no tape on him. You're comparing him to an $18 million guy. Okay. Clips goes, they're not playing any of the DE. He's an OLB. And so wait a minute. So Vic Fangio's not going to practice a guy and line him up September 6th with not knowing what the fuck he has. Okay. And you lost 18 sacks last year. How dumb can you get? Jesus criminy. Okay. As we said, Zach Braun getting a lot of looks and a lot of reps at linebacker. Lot. I think that's great. Number 9. Offense is continuing to struggle, but now we know why. It's a brand new offense. It's an absolutely brand new offense. Hey, Mike, am I saying that name right? Baun? It's not Braun, it's Baun, right? Okay. That's the kid from the Niners, or is that the kid from New Orleans? Oh, Oren Burke, what happened to him? Another guy, no reps in minicamp? They're not very high on him then. Especially when you have New Orleans. Thank you, guys. Especially when you have so many question marks on defense. Again, guys, don't ever compare anybody that's on that football team right now to Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff, you don't have to get a lot of reps out of him. You know why? You're paying him $18 million. You're seeing a ton of checkdowns. I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think I wish we did more of that a year ago. I think the offense could have benefited a ton. DeAndre Swift could have been utilized a lot better than what he was in the passing game if they had used more checkdowns. I don't think that's wrong in any way whatsoever. Okay? I don't. You got to remember something here. That was my takeaways. We'll have more a little bit later on today. But I'll say this to you. My takeaways from what a player and coach says is going to be completely different than yours with people with pens and paper. It's going to be completely different. The people that sit in the stands and on the sidelines are going to have a completely different view of how I hear or see things. So that's fine. Okay? But I know when you're not getting reps in minicamp, you're not high on their list. You're preparing the roster for training camp on who's going to be your depth guys. The depth chart's being set now. Coming off of that's what OTAs and minicamp are for. Who looks the most prepared? Who looks like he understands the defense or offense the most? And you build your depth chart that way. That's how it's been done for 100+ years. I mean, Brady won Super Bowls with check down. Absolutely. Brady was not a deep passer. He was to Gronk, Aaron Hernandez, 15-yard ins, outs on the number, and checkdowns. That's how he won a Super Bowl. Absolutely. And then get this. Brady broke every passing record on the planet as a check-down quarterback. Isn't that the most remarkable thing, too, when you think about it? The guy who threw the shortest passes in NFL history almost is the all-time leading passer. Jesus, criminy, and winner. If that's not a barometer and a litmus test to show you how to win, even Patrick Mahomes is now doing that shit. Right? With what I heard you say about Ringo, he'd be a better safety than a numbers guy. That's the point I'm making to you here. He's now put himself in a conversation where he's in this. What do we do with him? That's what I meant by that. What do we do with him? So let me do this. Let me give you my takeaways for the first 2 days. Defensively, very optimistic. Very optimistic. Guys getting reps. You got a quality guy motivating Devin White. You got another guy, and this guy, Vaughn is Nick Vick's taking a shine to. Again, training camp, exhibition football will tell us a lot more about that. They're getting a ton of reps. He feels comfortable with those guys. Great. This is not a starting lineup picked by Howie. That's a starting lineup on defense that's going to be picked by that coach and that coach alone. I think there's going to be conflict on that side of the ball with the front office on who to play and who not to play. Because when they don't get Nolan Smith's ass on the field, how's Howie going to feel about that? That's a reflection of him. I'll tell you something about Howie Roseman. One thing that is evident, he goes out of his way to protect his image. He goes out of his way to make sure that image is protected. Whether it's coaching hires, draft picks, trades like Reddick, he goes out of his way to shut down any negativity that could be said about his reputation. His reputation means everything to him on how he's perceived. And that's why Bob Lane calls my bosses glorified CPA. He got hung up over that because that guy goes out of his way to protect his reputation and how people perceive him instead of doing his fucking job. He fixed it. Hey, dude, you broke it. He wants to get pats on the back for both. You were the guy that hired the inferior coaches. And then you made Nick do your dirty job. Nick has the job because you know why? He cleaned up Howie's mess. That's why. Howie hired him. Nick fired him. Nick didn't hire him. That's why your boy, that's his job. To clean up Howie and your owner's mess. That's his role. Because the quarterback doesn't know what kind of football role he has. Tell me I'm wrong. I am very optimistic. Dude, this kid, Keely Ringo, holy shit, what a leap. It's not so much. Get this too. You know why that's significant and how they're throwing praise out? Coaches don't do that when you drafted a first and a second rounder and you're giving Keely Ringo more praise than them. That's not how that works. The first rounders get all the love. They get all the love. All right. Guy who's been killing it on Birds 365. And I really love what I'm hearing on that program. By the way, Farzetta's going to join us too. We got both guys who kick off the broadcasting here on JAKIB. Farzetta's going to be with us at 5:30, and here's